If you want to make beats for a weekend, watch this video. What's up? My name is 7Beats, and in this video I'm going to show you how to create amazing synthwave vintage electronic beats. Don't know exactly how to describe it, but I'm going to show you how to create those beats which are inspired by, for example, Mike Dean. So I'm a big fan, for example, of the Weeknd's album My Dear Melancholy. I really like the production on that album, so I'm going to create something similar. And for this video I'm just going to use plugins from Arturia, so both synth and effect plugins. So I'm going to use their Synth Collection 10 and I'm going to use their Effects Collection 4, which I highly recommend. So let's get started. So for this beat I want to create a more down-tempo beat, so let's pick the BPM of 112. Then I'm going to use a very generic vintage synth, which is called the Chip 8 V4, which is an amazing plugin, and it contains some awesome presets which just directly fit the vibe of, for example, the Weeknd. So I found this synth. So it's really cool. I don't have to adjust anything yet. So I'm going to open up the piano roll and let's adjust the scales. So I want to create a dark sounding beat. So I'm going to select A minor. So if you want to create dark beats, I mean, this is one of the best scales. So first, in this case, I'm just going to start off by drawing in the root notes. And if you want to create dark chord progressions, make sure to pick notes near each other. For example, F, D, E. So like this. Very simple. So we're now just copy it over. So I'm gonna pitch this one up 1 octave and pitch it up again 1 octave. So we're gonna create a full and very complex chord progression. Something like this. So if I pitch it down, contains just too much high frequencies. So I want to make sure I'm covering all the frequencies within the frequency spectrum from low to high frequencies by just using one synth. So this makes it way easier in the end. So that's it. That sounds really cool, so copy it over. So let's add some more notes on top. So that's it. That sounds really cool. So now I've adjusted some of the notes, play around with the position of the notes, strumize it, just to make it sound a little bit more humanic, because I don't want to make it sound too quantized. And then I've added this rhythm to the root note, so do, which adds a really cool effect to the chord progression. So let's have a listen. So I'm creating these melodies, I'm just messing around on the keyboard, find the right notes, drawing them in. I mean, it's just a process. And this one took me, I think, around 20 minutes to create. But now it sounds way too dry. So in this case, let's name this one Chord Progression. Let's link it to the mixer. So pick a random one. So right now I've added 2 effects from the Effects Collection. So first I'm using this reverb plate, 140, using this preset. And a lot of room to the preset. Amazing reverb. One of my favorite vintage reverbs at the moment. And I'm using this Dist Coldfire, which adds a unique effect to the chord progression. So let's have a listen. Adds a kind of distortive element. Just adding a little bit, balancing between dry and wet. Make sure you don't add too much, but I think it compresses the signal just a little bit and it's perfect to start off. So now let's add the next element. And I think in one of those tracks there is this high pitch bending lead, whatever. And I think a perfect plugin for creating something like this is using the Mini Freak, which is an amazing plugin. So I'm looking for a poly lead, which sounds like this. So it's pitch bending, as you can hear. But this definitely but this one definitely needs some tweaking. So I've been tweaking the melody, and I think right now it sounds great. So right now let's draw in a unique layer. That's it. So I'm just following the chord progressions, just to keep it very simple. Later on we're going to add some more effects. This one needs some tweaking. Oh, this one sounds a little bit off, but I think it sounds really cool. But now it sounds way too friendly, so we have to add some more room. So let's rename this one lead, and also link this one to the mixer. So right now I've pitched up the melody 1 octave, and I've added this weird rotary mono effect, adding some chorus to soften up the sound. And then of course I've added a wide reverb. And then I'm adding some glide. That's it. Make sure this one is perfect. That sounds really, really dope. So I think this is it. Sounds still very, very simple, but we have to add some more low frequencies. So I want to use a bass sound. So I just found a bass sound, and I'm gonna draw in the root notes. Oh, this one sounds crazy. Still sounds horrible, the pitch bending lead or the gliding lead. But I think when I'm adding the drums, it makes more sense, I think. So now let's add some drums. So right now I'm going to use the Blackout drum kit, which is when it comes to creating R&B beats, trap beats. I mean, it's my go-to kit. And if you want to check out some free drums, make sure to check out my website, which is 7beats.com. So there are multiple free kits which you can download. So let's add a clap, and we're going to add a shit amount of reverb on this one. So this one sounds very unique. So let's add this one. Let's shorten up this one. Make it very, very simple. I want to use another layer, a clap which contains some more power. I think this one, which also sounds very unique. Simply copy it over. And then let's add a kick to already define the main rhythm. I think this one sounds good. So let's draw it in. I think I'm gonna add a simple rhythm. Just like this, not that difficult. That's it. Also copy it over. Keep it very, very simple. And then let's add some more symbols. So for example, an open head. So I think this bending head sounds really cool. This one right here. And then let's add some open heads. So I'm going to add some rolls and a main rhythm when it comes to the head rhythm. So let's pick a short open head. So I like this one, so drag it in. So I'm not going to show you the full process, but this is the main head rhythm. Making sure I'm not a lot of groove by playing around with the velocity. Very simple, and we're now just clone this one. Select clone. I'm going to add some rolls to make it more interesting. So I've added these rolls. Which also sound very unique. I'm going to link those drums in the mixer, and I'm going to add some crazy effects. So on the second hi-hat on the rolls, I've added this preset, just a reverb. Then I've used this unique plugin, which is EFX Fragments. And I don't know what it does, but it sounds amazing. It's kind of really unique reverb. So let's have a listen. So I think this element makes it very unique. And then on the main hi-hat, I've added this rotary CLS. This one adds kind of a phasing effect, stereo effect. So when I'm combining all these elements right now, it sounds like this. So still the claps sound way too boring, and right now we have to add some reverb to the claps. So I've ended up adding some more reverb and also added another rotary effect to add kind of a phaser effect to the clap. Sounds very dark, spacious. So on the open head I've added this EFX Fragments, this preset, and that basically repeats the open head, so another unique preset. So I don't know exactly what it does, but I think it's a great addition when it comes to making the drums just a little bit more interesting, adding that final touch. So right now, let me arrange this beat. I'm going to mix it and show you the final result. So right now I've finished up the beat. I've added some automations just to make sure the effects on the drums are not repeating itself all the time. So this way I'm keeping it interesting. So for example, this is a unique trick. Remove some high frequencies on the first part of the beat, for example. So on the clap 5, for example, I've removed some or reduced some high frequencies. And on the clap right here, I'm increasing the reverb. And this is a trick which adds some more uniqueness to the beat. Very simple. And it's so simple because you've already added the reverb. So basically you're turning it on and off. And by adding those tiny details, it just sounds way more professional in the end, because otherwise the whole beat sounds the same. So by adding this, you add some more flavor to the beat when you're listening to the full arrangement. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're inspired by this beat, make sure to leave it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. So right now I'm going to play the full beat in the outro. So if you want to check out the drums which I've used, make sure to check out the Blackout drum kit. And I hope to see you next week.